AITA for insisting my son cook dinner once a week? I, 43F, have two sons, Adam, 17, and James, 15. Adam showed an interest in cooking from a young age and is very talented. He makes dinner for the family 23x a week because he enjoys it and it gives him an opportunity to try new recipes. I generally cook the rest of the time, unless it's summer and my husband insists on grilling every day. James was not particularly interested in learning to cook. I did try to teach him the kitchen basics and he can make himself a sandwich and simple things, but he'd rather grab an apple than make himself a meal. A few months back, James began asking Adam in the afternoons to make him a snack. Something homemade. And sometimes he'll do it if he's in the mood, but more often than not, he's bothered by the daily requests. I asked James why he can't make a sandwich or have a snack. We always have things like hummus, yogurt, pita, sliced veggies, salsa and chips. I make baked goods often. A good array of decent snacks. He could make a smoothie. There's always frozen fruit. But he said Adam is just better at it and he doesn't know how to make it as good. I felt this was a sign I had dropped the ball, so I decided that James would take over making the family dinner once a week. It didn't have to be fancy, but it had to be at least somewhat balanced and filling. For example, yesterday, he made grilled cheese sandwiches, a salad and tomato soup, with a side of cut strawberries. A very simple but good meal. Packaged soups and things are fine as long as that's not all. I help him with the meal planning and then I would work at the dining room table nearby in case he needed help. He hasn't enjoyed this, but I've still kept on it because it's a really important life skill. Feeding yourself isn't optional. He's been complaining to my mother, his grandma, and she's been calling me to tell me I've let a punishment go on too long. But it's not meant to be that. It's life skill training, and I was very clear with James that this was a permanent change, not a temporary punishment. But she made me feel like an absolutely terrible mother forcing unpleasant chores on my children. I tried to point out that my own brother is a grown man that lives on takeout because she never taught him to cook, and I didn't want that to be James one day. She hung up on me. My husband is in full support of our new routine, but still, nothing takes you down a peg like being yelled at by your mother, so I'm looking for some other opinions. Is it really that bad? NTA. This is an important life skill not enough people have, and knowing how to do these things will allow him to put together cheap, healthy meals when he's living on his own instead of wasting his little money on DoorDash. If he wants to see it as a chore, that's fine. Teaching kids how to pick up after themselves, do yard work, sew their own clothes, as in patch them, hole, repair zippers, etc. Though hell, the full enchilada isn't a bad idea either. And 500 million other chores are all valuable things to know how to do in life. Unless he's planning on living with you or James Adam for the rest of his life. These are things he should know how to do, and you're reinforcing that. I think what you're doing is great. Edit. If there is ever a day I don't mix up the names in one of these posts, I'll buy a lottery ticket. NTA. You're helping James develop an important life skill and teaching him that weaponized incompetence is not acceptable. When he grows up and has a partner, they'll be very glad that you taught him this lesson. NTA. I didn't like being forced to learn how to cook a meal as a kid. But it's the one thing my parent did for me that genuinely helped me. Chores aren't always supposed to be fun, but they are important for one's everyday life. Would your mom think you're being cruel or punishing him if you enforced a curfew or made sure he got enough sleep on school nights? This is no different. It's one single day a week and you aren't even expecting a lot from him. Just that he shows he can fend for himself in the kitchen. I also think that making a habit of it now is a good thing. When college time to move out happens, he's going to snap into junk food for a while. But after that fad ends, he'll want those filling meals that don't make you feel gross for eating afterwards, and he won't have to teach himself and build the habits from scratch. May I also recommend having him try making a meal plan for 1 week, just to show him how not to add to his chores. Making a grocery list of what is needed for the household, food and other needs, at least once. This includes checking what you already have and only listing what you need. Shopping with you for the ingredients on a budget. Maybe don't make him do it all the time, but at least once is good. People don't realize how much work all of that actually is until they have to do it for the first time. NTA, what would he do if he moved out for university? NTA, knowing how to cook is pretty useful when you're an adult. NTA, she yelled at you as a defense mechanism because she dropped the ball by not teaching your brother to cook. I taught my kids as teens to do laundry, and when he got to college, my son thanked me because he was the only one in his dorm who knew how to do it. NTA, you're teaching him an invaluable life skill. Does he prefer savory snacks? Or sweets? Or breakfast? Now that he has some experience, I'd branch out into something he prefers, like making pancakes or eggs on Sunday morning. Or teach him to make pizza or brownies. NTA, it sounds like your mother feels like it's okay to raise incompetent children. I don't know if it's only with her son or if she didn't teach you how to cook either. But you're setting up your kids for success by making them learn to cook. NTA, it's a shame your mother doesn't realize that cooking is a basic life skill everyone should learn. NTA, I think all children should know the basics of cooking. There's nothing sadder than seeing grown people who can't even fry an egg. So does anyone cook with James? I agree he needs to have some kitchen skills because he wants to be self-sufficient. Well, he probably doesn't think he does right now. But he does. Does your husband cook? Can he lend a hand? Ask James what he likes to eat and then work with him to find his signature dish. Does he like to grill? Bake? Good for you to tell your mom you didn't want your son helpless in the kitchen like she made your brother. Keep reminding her you are raising sons who will be a good life partner, not a burden. Make sure your boys know how to do the laundry, clean the kitchen, clean a bathroom and vacuum the house. They use those rooms, they can help keep them clean. You mean I didn't have to mow the lawn because it was unpleasant? NTA. NTA. I know far too many people who can't cook toast. Tell your mother it's not a punishment. It's a skill you are teaching him to be a better person. Having said that, you need to talk to your son because he obviously thinks it's a punishment. Explain to him that it's not. Tell him that you want to work with him to teach him how to cook so that he can do it himself, and that it's as important a skill as learning to read or write or drive or whatever. Don't sit at the dining room table. Pick a meal that will challenge him, that you already know how to cook, and then cook that meal with him. Show him what to do. Bond with him over the experience. Short of doing that, you might very possibly turn your son off of cooking. NTA. It is a chore like any other. It won't kill him to cook once a week. NTA at all. You doing exactly what you should be doing as a parent. It is your job to raise your kids to be healthy, independent adults. They need to know how to cook. You're right that your mother should not be providing an opinion if she didn't manage to teach your brother about cooking for himself. Say, "This is my decision. Let's talk again when you're ready to discuss something else." Epic mic drop on mom. Grin thumbs up light skin tone. NTA having a cooking skill is an important skill to have, especially when he moves out of the house, as he would need to make his own meals. NTA. Keep having him cook until he's proficient in knife skills and management. Also start teaching him financial planning and meal planning budgets. Compare the homemade meal costs to takeout. Have him estimate the cost per month for homemade versus takeout and convert that to how many hours of work he would have to do. NTA. One of my goals with my sons was that they shouldn't be Hardee's commercials. At one time, Hardee's had a commercial that said, "If it weren't for us, some guys would starve." Both are very good at cooking. One is a wonderful baker. It was so great by the time they were in high school. If they were home, I could tell them to cook dinner and what I wanted, and they would cook it. It was great for all. NTA. But I would elect to allow James to select chores he's more interested in and enjoys after he has demonstrated sufficient knowledge of cooking and meal planning that could get him by when he's an adult. I think it's a good punishment that both corrects his abuse of Adam's time and teaches him important life skills. But once the punishment phase is up and he knows what he's doing, it would be more fair to allow him to select a chore he likes. It seems like Adam enjoys cooking 23x a week, so James should be allowed to select a chore that takes more or less the same amount of time and mental energy, like taking care of the lawn or doing laundry, including mending clothes. Something like trash is not sufficient. It doesn't take as long. Also, ignore your mother. She sounds like an old-school misogynist who thinks it's inappropriate to raise boys to be anything but utterly incompetent in every single domestic task, and pretty much every other incidental of being an adult.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.